Nachma, meuman, Tale 7, sipurei masios of a fly and spider. The rebbe said, I will tell you about my journey that I had. There once was a king who had upon him many heavy battles, and he conquered them, and took many captives. In the middle of his words, that he began to tell this story, the rebbe, nachman, interjected by saying, tell me, you think you want that I should tell you everything? And that you should be able to understand. Every year he would make a big banquet, a ball, and on the day that he conquered the battles, on the day that he conquered the battles, attending the ball were all the royal ministers and all the other officials, as is the way of royalty. And attending the ball were all the royal ministers and all other officials, as is the way of royalty. Comedy shows were given where they would parody and joke about all the nations from the Arabs, and from all the nations they would jestfully characterize the ways and mannerism and behaviors. They would jestfully characterize the ways of mannerism and behaviors of each nation. And they probably made fun of the Jews as well. The king instructed to bring him the book in which was written the mannerism and customs of each and every nation. Wherever he would open up the book, he would see that it was written the mannerism and customs of the nation exactly as the actors were acting out, because most probably the actors themselves had seen this book. While the king was poring over the book, he saw a spider that was crawling along the side of the book, that is on the outer edges of the pages. On the other side was a fly. In all probability, where does the spider go? Towards the fly. So while the spider was crawling towards the fly, a breeze came along and lifted that page from the book, so that the spider was no longer able to get to the fly. The spider stepped back, slyly giving the impression that it was retreating and no longer interested in going to the fly. Meanwhile, the page fell back in its place, and the spider proceeded again towards the fly. But then the page was lifted again, not allowing the spider to reach the fly, and the spider retreated. This happened several times afterwards. Once again, the spider returned to go to the fly. It was crawling and advancing until it had already stuck one foot on the top of the page. And again the page lifted up with the spider already slightly on it. Then the page settled back down completely until the spider remained underneath it. In the space between the two pages, it crawled around there, but it remained forced further and further down until nothing was left of it. And the fly, I will not tell you what happened to it, said the rebbe. Nanach, nachman, the king had been watching all of this with amazement. He understood that this is no idle incident, rather he is being shown something. And all the ministers had noticed that the king was watching and was in wonderment. So the king began to think about it. What is this? What is it about? And he dozed off on top of the book. And the king had a dream that he was holding a diamond, and he was looking at it, and an exaggerated number of people were coming out of it, and he cast the diamond out of his hand. Now kings generally have a portrait of themselves hanging above them, and on top of the portraits sits the crown. And these people that emerged from the diamonds took the portraits, cut off the picture of the king's head, and afterwards they took the crown and threw it into the mud. All this was what the king dreamed. And these people ran towards the king to kill him. A page of the book upon he was lying lifted itself and protected him from them, so that they were unable to harm him. So they went away. So afterwards the page of the book returned to its place, and again they wanted to kill him, and again the page lifted itself as before. This happened several times. The king yearned very much to see which page is protecting him, which behaviors of which nation are written on that page. And he was afraid to look, and he began to scream, "Whoa, whoa!" All the ministers who were sitting All the ministers who were sitting there heard this, and they wanted to rouse him. But it is not proper to rouse a king, so they banged things around him in order to wake him. But he did not hear. Meanwhile, a tall mountain came to the king and asked him, "Why are you screaming so much? It has been a long time that I have been sleeping, and nothing ever woke me up. Nothing. And you woke me up, and you woke me up." The king said to him, "Shall I not scream? They are coming to kill me, only this page has protected me." The mountain replied, "If this page is protecting you, then you need not fear anything, for many enemies rise against me as well. But only this same page protects me, but only this same page protects me. Come and I will show you." The mountain showed the king that around it are thousands and myriads of enemies that are making feasts and rejoicing with musical instruments, singing and dancing. The cause of this joy is that one group among them, one thinks and comes upon a clever idea how to climb the mountain. Then they rejoice greatly with a feast and singing, etc. The same happens with each and every group among them. Just this page of these mannerisms that protects you, the king, protects me, the mountain. On top of the mountain there was a tablet upon which was written the behaviors of the page that protects him, whichever people it is. However, since the mountain is high, it is impossible to read the written. It is impossible to read the writing. Just at the foot of the mountain there was a tablet upon which was written that whoever possesses all his teeth can climb the mountain, and the blessed God arranged that a certain grass grows in the place which is necessary to ascend the mountain, and whoever comes there, all his teeth would fall out, no matter if one was walking, riding, or driving in a carriage drawn by animals, all his teeth would fall out. Piles and piles of teeth lay there, like mountains and mountains. After this, the people of the diamond so booked the portrait, and they put it back together as it had been originally, and they took the crown and washed it, and they returned them, hanging them in their places. And the king woke up, and the king woke up. The king immediately looked at the page that had protected him. Which behavior of which nation was it? He saw that on it was written the behaviors of the Jewish people. The king began to look at the page honestly, and he understood the real truth. And he came to a decision that he himself would certainly be a Jew. But what can be done to rehabilitate everyone, to bring them to the truth? And he came to the decision that he would go and travel in search of a sage who would interpret the dream as he had dreamt it. So he took 2 men with him and traveled around the world, not in a royal manner, but as a simple person. He traveled from city to city, from country to country. He traveled from city to city, from country to country, asking where he could find a sage who could interpret a dream as it had been dreamt. He was told that in such and such a place there was such a sage. So the king came to the sage and told him the truth, that he is a king who has been victorious in battles, and the entire story is told above. And the king asked him to interpret the dream. The sage responded, "I myself cannot interpret it. However, there is a certain time on a certain day, in a certain month, on which I collect all the spices of the incense." In brackets, enumerated in the torah, and the brackets, and make a composite of them. And make a composite of them. A person is given to inhale its smoke, and this person thinks in his mind on what he would like to see. And he will then know everything. The king came to a decision. Since he had already spent a lot of time for this, he should wait further until that day of that month. When the time came, the sage did for him so, as described above, and gave the king to inhale the smoke of the incense. The king began to see even things. The king began to see even things that had happened to him before his birth. When his soul was in the upper world, he saw that his soul was being taken. Nanach, nachman, meuman. Nanach, nachman, meuman. he saw that his soul was being taken through all the worlds and announcing and asking, "Whoever has any accusation against this soul, let him come forward." And no one was found to make an accusation against it in the middle of all of this. Someone came running and shouting, "Master of the world, listen to my prayer. If this soul comes to the world, then what is left for me to do? For what purpose did you create me?" This was the devil himself shouting. He was answered, "This soul must go down into the world for certain, and you will have to devise your own plan." And he went away. So the soul was brought further through all the worlds until it reached the heavenly court, in order to be sworn that it would descend into the world. Now that man, the devil, had not yet arrived, so a messenger was sent after him. And he came, and he brought with him an old man, with which was bent over as old people are, and with whom the devil had previous acquaintance. The devil said laughingly, "I have already devised a plan. It is permissible." The devil said laughingly. The devil said laughingly, "I have already devised a plan. It is permissible for him to go to the world." So the soul was allowed to go to the world. He, the king, saw everything that ever happened to him, from beginning to end, how he became king and the wars that he had waged, etc. He took prisoners, among whom was a beautiful woman who possessed all types of charm in the world. However, this charm was not from herself. Rather, she would hang a diamond on herself, and the diamond possessed all the types of charm, on account of which it seemed that she possessed all types of charm. And it is impossible to come on that mountain. Only sages and the wealthy. Only sages and the wealthy. Only sages and the wealthy. More than this, the rebbe did not say, nanach, nachman, nachma, meuman. There is much more to this. The last paragraph, from he took prisoners to the end, was not written properly as the rebbe had told it. Nanach, nachman, nachma, meuman, a psalm of David when he fled. "Oh God, how great are my troubles! Many rise against me, but you, O God, protect me. You are my glory, and he who raises my head. I call out with my voice to God, and he always answers me from his holy mountain. This alludes to the mountain I lay down and fall asleep. As mentioned above, I awake. I will not fear myriads of people, for you have smitten all my enemies on the cheek. You have broken the teeth of the wicked." This refers to the fallen teeth of those who try to climb the mountain. Your blessing is upon your people forever. Stand and contemplate these wonders. If you are a soulful person, you will feel like tearing out your flesh with your teeth, and that your soul is in the palm of your hand. You will stand trembling and amazed. And that your soul is in the palm of your hand, you will stand trembling and amazed. While the hairs of your head stand on edge, look again and be amazed at these ideas that are in the highest above the heights. Tell him, of a rabbi and his only son. There once was a rabbi who had no children. Eventually had an only son. When he raised and married off, the son would sit on the upper floor and study. As was the custom of well-to-do people, he was always studying and praying. And he still felt something was missing within him, but he did not know what. He had no taste in his studies and praying. Nanach, nachman, nachman, meuman. Nachman, nachman, meuman.